A lot of foot problems are shoe related. About 60% of the clients that I see come in because they have problems with finding good fit in footwear. So what are the qualities that you should look for when you're looking for a good shoe? Here I have an example of a shoe that has all the qualities that we should be looking for. The first thing that you should look for is a rubber sole. Avoid any hard soles. The advantage of a rubber sole is that when you hit the ground, there's a shock that is produced. When you have a rubber sole, the shock gets dissipated in the rubber and that does not affect the joint. So rubber sole is very important. We then look for a wide fitting toe box so that your foot does not get squeezed at the front of your toes do not get squeezed. So look for something that is rounded or something that is square. Also the depth, because people who've got toes that are crunched up, if the toe box is not deep, then they start getting corns on the top of the toes. So you must look for a deep toe box. It's also a good idea to have a shoe that has some sort of fastening, either laces or Velcro. How many times have you gone to the shop, you've bought a moccasin type shoe, and it fits fine in the shop, but then after 2-3 weeks, it becomes very loose, like a boat. It does not give you support. But if you have laces or Velcro, then the foot is held in place because you can tighten and loosen the shoe as you wish. The other thing that you should look for is a shoe that is comfortable at the back, a shoe that is padded. The advantage of having padding in the back of the shoe is that it will not irritate the heel counter. So the padding is extremely important, and especially for people with things like diabetes and circulation problems. When you then look at inside the shoe, it should be padded and soft so that you will not get any blisters, and it will mold the foot in a nice way. If you have just a shoe that is just let's say pure leather, and the leather is touching the foot, then it can very much irritate the skin on the foot. So that is an example of the qualities of a good shoe. When it comes to sandals as well, it's very important that you get a good sandal. It's a good idea to wear a sandal that's got a strap at the back. If you wear something like a slipper, it means then that you're using your toes to hold the shoe onto your feet. So you're using your toes to grab onto the shoe, and this does cause distraction in the toes, and it tires your feet out. And sometimes when you're walking fast with the sandal, the foot lets go, the toes let go, and the shoe goes off the foot by itself. So if you have a strap at the back, the shoe will hold itself onto the foot. The other thing is good fastening on the sandals so that if your feet swell, you can adjust. Again, when you look at the sole, it should not be a flat sole, because a flat sole does not give you any support. Go for something that's molded, that has got an S shape, and this gives you very good support. The same thing applies to women's shoes. Again, the molded support with the S shape. Always look for the S shape. Any shoe that has got an S shape gives you a lot of support in the foot and is very comfortable. Again, the wide toe box and the deep toe box. I always say avoid shoes that are extremely flat and that have got no support. These shoes, which, they're called doll shoes. You see a lot of people wearing them day in, day out. They're walking in them. These shoes do not offer any support. So eventually, people come in with a lot of heel pain because of this kind of shoes. You can see there's hardly any support. Even a thorn can go through that shoe very easily and cause injury. If you look at the front, it's very, very narrow. So you tend to develop corns on your toes as well. So these are shoes to be avoided. This is not a shoe to wear day in, day out. You can wear for a few hours, maybe for occasions or something, but it is not a shoe to be worn day in, day out. And the same thing applies with shoes that have got a very high heel. So shoes that have a very high heel tend to put pressure on your knees and your lower back and the front of the foot, and will eventually cause you a lot of problems. So a good shoe is one that has got good support, is not too high, and has support on the arc area. And the other thing we should pay attention to is socks. A lot of people come in, with socks that are very tight, that form a ring on the calf area. So, and especially if you have circulation problems, it's a good idea that you go for wide fitting socks that do not have elastic. They will still stay up, they don't have elastic, but this sort of socks will never ever cause you any problems. So non-elasticated socks, especially for our senior citizens or for people who have problems of circulation of feet that swell or have diabetes or arthritis, these are the sort of socks that are recommended. A good shoe is the key to healthy feet.